was good, my niggas? Checking back in with y'all, man. Yo, we gotta talk about this, man. If Andre Ward was still fighting, if Andre Ward was still fighting, how would he fare against Canelo, or how would Canelo fare against him? And I've heard a wide range of thoughts and opinions on it, man. And I think we get so caught, people are so caught up with the fact that, you know, how much they hate Canelo, that it just completely dilutes their senses on reality. Andre Ward would not have stopped Canelo. He wouldn't have. He would not have stopped Canelo. There's just, nah. Could he have beaten Canelo? I have absolutely no doubt that he could have. But could Canelo beat him? Yes. One thing we give people, I mean, Andre Ward was, you know, before he retired, he was the baddest man on the planet. He was very deserving of that title. Very much so deserving. But he wasn't, nothing stood out on Andre Ward in the sense of like when you look at a Canelo. When you look at Canelo, you see, whoa, he's different from a lot of the other cats. Defense, counterpunching, you see that clear as day. This dude is special. I think when you talk about Andre Ward, you have to have a really developed eye for the sport to appreciate the intangibles of Andre Ward, with his timing and his tactics that he implies within the clinch. I think you have to take that into consideration. I do. Andre Ward was an incredibly, I don't want to say was, is an incredibly fundamentally sound boxer, man, and he's dope. Andre Ward was a beast. One of my favorites to watch when he was active. But it wasn't nothing like yo, Andre Ward is different. I don't think, you know, nothing. It was no effects to the degree that, man, he does that better than everybody. He does that better than everybody. When you think Andre Ward, you think of B-Hop. You think of B-Hop. You think how, you know, he saturates, he just completely saturates all of the, exhausts you for all of your aggression that you have towards him as he starts to pick you off and time you coming in and timing you at a distance and just really slowing the pace of the fight down, getting in the clinch, beating you up on the inside, working you to the body, holding your arms for, you know, extended periods of time. And that would, I think, would be the factor between him and Canelo. Because one thing, Canelo is a classy fighter. Canelo's a classy fighter in the sense of like how he was, you know, it's fucked up saying classy in the sense like, you know, this is a brutal sport. But he wants a clean boxing match. He wants a clean fight. He doesn't, you know, he's not looking to hit you behind the head or hit you low or lean on you a little too much, you know, or do anything, commit any sort of fouls that have you looking towards the ref like, you don't see, you know, stop him from doing this shit, or that could put him at risk of getting the point deducted. That's not Canelo's game. Ward is a different beast, my nigga. So I think that would be the determining factor between the two. I think that would be the determining factor between the two. And because I think Ward would have a better time with getting Canelo's rhythm down than Canelo will have a time with getting Ward's rhythm down. Because, you know, Ward isn't the biggest. He's not the biggest combination puncher. He wasn't. He didn't. You know, he didn't throw punches in volume like Canelo does. And when somebody look at Velasquez and Bud, him being, you know, methodical and diplomatic and economical with his punches, not even with his punches, his rhythm. He didn't open up for the entire first round. That shit is unsettling, bro. He didn't allow the magnitude of his fight knock him off his square. He stayed poised. When I see an opening, I'll attack. I'm at a disadvantage, clearly, but I ain't gonna be, I'm not, that ain't saying I'm out of the fight. I'm just at the disadvantage. He's better than me. So, all right, cool. I'm not gonna let that shit dictate how I react and become more reactionary than strategic. So I think Ward would have a better shot at I think early in the fight you would have more success with the Andre Ward in that fight early on. And I just I think Canelo would have more to adjust to, just because of Ward's timing. He'd have to adjust. Canelo would have to adjust to his timing, and he'd have to adjust to his tactics in the clinch. But now we in the fifth, we in the middle rounds, the 6th, 7th, and 8th round, and he has your timing down. All right, cool. Now you have cool. Now how are you going to counter? What are you going to do? Are you going to stop Canelo's onslaught now? How are you going to do that? You understand what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to be able to dig, to offset his counter punching capabilities? How are you going to do that? Now he's getting used to your tactics in the clinch. All right, cool. How are you going to, now that he's throwing he's throwing hooks off of the break. You know what I'm saying? He's knowing, all right, cool. If I move my arm this way, he's gonna go, all right, cool. He's understanding how to detangle his arms up out of yours to get a shot off. How to drop, his weight just slightly in the clinch to get proper leverage on the shot, to where if you do wrap my arms up, I can at least get about 1 or 2 punches off in the clinch before you wrap me up. What then? You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I think people are really in a state of delusion when it comes to Canelo, and because that delusion is really starting to turn into some other shit, like some gang goofy shit. Like, you niggas is bozos if you think Ward. When I seen a brother say Ward was gonna stop Canelo, I'm like, my nigga, you crazy as a motherfucker. We haven't seen Canelo drop. We haven't really even seen him hurt. We seen him respect, like, all right, when he fought Triple G, all right, yeah, that was respect right there. But I ain't seen him do no dance. I ain't seen his legs stiffen. I haven't seen none of that from Canelo. We've seen Andre Ward dropped multiple times. We've seen it. He can be caught, clearly. Canelo has clearly shown he has the punching power to deal with cats at 75 if he wanted to go up at 75. So what are we doing, man? Like, what are we talking about? You're not about to sit here and tell me Andre Ward is about to stop Canelo Alvarez just because you hate Canelo Alvarez. That is the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. Not the most, but it's up there. Andre Ward is not stopping Canelo Alvarez. He would not have stopped Canelo Alvarez. I have no issues with a nigga saying he beat him. I have no issues with that. Because I can see him beating him, but I can see Canelo beating him as well. I think these cats get real silly with it, man, and it's ridiculous, man. So that's how I feel about it, man. I feel Canelo would have to, he'd have a harder time adjusting to Andre Ward, because Canelo's going to come out looking to establish the jab. He's looking to establish his dominance over you and find out, all right, cool, yup, cool, I got him right here. I got him right here. I got him right here. Biting off the jab a little too much. All right, cool. He's reacting to the jab a little bit. Let me feint the jab and flash the left hook. Let me feint the body shot and flash. And let me flash the body shot and come up. Switch up the left hook. He does. I think that's his best punch. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be looking to find his range early in the fight, as he did with Callum Smith. I'm coming in there to get my distance and down off rip. So I'm looking to see how you react to certain shots and where I can land. That's Canelo off rip. And I think Andre Ward is going to be, it's a timing thing with him. He's going to be looking to time him coming in. I mean, he's real. I think, he was really good at piercing your guard. Looking for them little pockets in your guard that he can exploit. So, yeah, man, I think I would say early in the fight, Andre Ward would be having success. but late in the fight, Canelo will be having more success. Canelo in this, in this light, the Canelo that we've been seeing the past couple of fights, he'd be having more. I think he'd have more success late in the fight, and Andre Ward would have success early in the fight, because Canelo wouldn't be able to get his timing down. Once Andre Ward got Canelo's timing down and he begins to open up more, that opens up countering opportunities for Canelo to get his shots off. And I mean, just when I say success, I don't mean he's just gonna be beating the shit out of Canelo. I just think he'd be the more busy fighter, because he'd be fighting, he'd be fighting at his own pace. But with the countering opportunities, man, all right, cool. That, when you get countered a lot, that makes you think, and it makes you apprehensive to throw. So while you apprehensive to throw, all right, cool. Now I ain't got to worry about getting time. So here I come with my onslaught. Now I'm throwing. So that's how I feel about it, man. It could go, that fight could go either way. But y'all got to stop with the Canelo, the Canelo slander, the Canelo drag. That shit is ridiculous. Andre Ward would not have stopped Canelo Alvarez. Would he have beaten him? I have no doubt in my mind that he could beat Canelo Alvarez. But I have no doubt in my mind as well that Canelo Alvarez can beat Andre Ward as well. So y'all like and subscribe and let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I look forward to hearing from y'all, my niggas. Peace.